You need to know what to do with that dough. Let the chef show you. You need to know what to do with that dough.
So let's welcome LaTara Moore, Chief Culinary Specialist for the Navy. So let's welcome Miss LaTara Moore. Welcome, LaTara.
Hi, it's nice to finally be on here.
Yes. I interviewed your husband, Chef Mo, right, Jermaine, and that's when I learned that you worked on the boat, right? So I didn't know the title. I think I called you an executive chef. So the correct title is Chief Culinary Specialist.
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
So before you tell me about what that entails, first tell me a little bit about yourself as well as being in the Navy. I know it's Fleet Week, right? Shout out to the people. So the time of this recording, if you don't know, tell us what is Fleet Week and do you participate in those activities? I know in New York City, when I used to work for the transit system, we used to see the sailors all around, right? Is that the right term? The
Yes,
Marines?
sailor. Yes, you're right.
Sailors. Okay. Okay. The Marines would be the Marines. Duh.
Yes, they're they're called Marines, and then like some of them are called grunts, like the ones that work on land, the ones that actually go and do things. So,
Oh, okay. So tell
mhm.
us a little bit about yourself and explain what Fleet Week is, because I know it's already around this Memorial Day. So tell the people.
Okay, so hi, I'm LaTara Moore, originally from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay.
I joined the Navy when I was 19 years old. I've been in for 23 years. Coming up this August, I'll be 23. I am a chief culinary specialist. Um, and I have been on 4 platforms. I tend to do a lot of the managerial part now, but I started
Well,
off
tell me what are platforms?
ship sizes. So
Okay.
a carrier is the biggest ships with the ones that you see the most about are like the carriers that have the aircrafts on the top. And then the ships that are the smallest ones protect the aircraft. So you have those around the aircraft when we go to. So I was on it. My last ship I just came off of in 2023 was a destroyer. So
This is impressive, girl. What?
yeah, yes.
I need to know that we are getting some tea. Who else would I ask? This is so interesting to me.
Yeah, so I started off on an amphibious ship, and that's like it's considered the taxi for the Marines because we kind of take them to the areas where they're going to be at in foreign countries, and so we kind of taxi them into those cities, and then we kind of help out. The oil rigs that are in the middle of the water, we are
Yeah.
their food source while we're out there, so they receive food from us. The platforms
What?
out there, the oil rigs, yes. So we
You
do
see my
that.
face, right?
Yes.
Wow, this is so
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah. So it's,
Okay.
different ships that require them to do different things.
Okay.
So carriers are, the aircraft life, air all day. They fly from morning to night. It doesn't stop on
Okay.
deployment. You hear them all night long. You hear them all day long. So they fly all day long. And, so different platforms of the ship will require them to have different functionalities that they need to do. So that's really it. The aircraft carrier that we feed is usually 7,000. So it's like a mini city on water.
You said the aircraft you feed is what?
7,000 people. Yes,
On a daily basis? No, you're
on a
not.
da- on a daily basis. When we're out to sea, it is
Oh,
bananas. Yes. So it's like a mini city on water. Like you'll know people that say they was on the same ship as you when you were out there, and you're like, I've
mm.
never seen you because it's so many people. So
Okay. Excuse my ignorance. I'm just thinking. So I've been on a cruise ship. So is it as big as a cruise ship? Are there different floors and levels? You got to take a
yeah.
cruise. Okay.
So like the same like a cruise ship will have like the food and stuff on the main deck. That's how it is on there for us. We're on the main deck, the galley. But there's on the carrier, there's like And like maybe I think I want to say 6 galleys.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yes, because different ranks get to eat at different places. So
Oh, yeah, fine dining on the ship.
yeah, different ranks because we have like admirals that live on ship and they have their own cooks. So they have their own mess, and our CO would have his own cook and he has his own galley. Our commanding officer, like the person that runs the ship. And the chiefs, we eat in a certain different place. Our officers eat in a certain different place. And then in the enlisted, like the junior sailors, they eat on main deck. Like there's 2 galleys for them on main deck. So
And how long have you been in this position, chief
since
culinary?
chief culinary, I picked up chief in 2021.
So what was your title before that?
Uh Culinary specialist first class. So I've always been a culinary specialist. It's
Oh,
just that when you promote, your name changes. So, and
oh,
like the chief part is like the managerial, the first
like
class,
like
the
an
one I
exec.
was at before was supervisor. Like you're supervising all operations, but you're not touching the big items, like the things that has to be managed administratively.
Mhm.
So you do more of that as a chief, and you're just the runner. They're like
Making
the
sure everything's
kitchen. Yeah,
done.
you're like the kitchen chef. Like everybody has to do what you need them to do, type of thing. So,
Now, is there a level over you?
oh yes. So there's 2 levels more to go in the listed rank, and so uh, right now when you make chief, you're like a part of the 3% that ever make chief in the Navy. Yes. And
Hmm.
so when you make senior chief, you're like 2. When you're like master chief, you're like the one in the 1%. And
Mhm.
so I'm at the rank of E7. And so there's E8 and E9. And E9 is the highest you can go in an enlisted rank. So,
Mm. Yeah, I was just talking right before we got on this call. My tech guy called me, and I was telling him I was getting ready to have this interview, and he said he knows a guy who's a chef. He works on a boat. Don't give me the lion, like in the service. I don't know, Navy or right, yeah, whatever. But he said he's a civilian. So I was like, oh, I would love to interview him. And he said, oh, well, he might be in the middle of the water. So they hire civilians to come on and cook?
so
No.
he's probably if he is on a ship, he's on the supply ships. So the
Oh,
supply ships will have civilian cooks. Like
oh,
the
okay.
ones that bring us our parts and our food out to sea.
Hmm.
They usually are run by civilians, supply officers, civilian everything. So I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is interesting, girl. Okay. Okay. So let me ask you, and I find it interesting that I'm talking to you now because one of my best friends, her daughter, I call her my niece, she's enlisting in the army. And so this was new for us. We didn't know. I thought growing up, I thought you could just, oh, I want to be in the army. Where do I sign? I don't know if it
Mm.
changed, but she originally wanted to go for the Air Force and she had to do some testing. She didn't make the Air Force. And she then went to the army. And I didn't know you have to pick a job, right? I didn't know you had to pick a job. So whatever job she wanted, she didn't they said wasn't available. So now she's going to be into parachuting, right? She's going to be I don't know what
Oh
the title.
wow.
Yeah, so she won't do that until she's got some time. So I'm a little nervous. I love her to death, but it made me understand better how the system works. So is that
Mm.
something that happened with you? Did you go in saying I want to be a culinary specialist?
So the funny thing about my story is I didn't want to really join the Navy, right?
Okay.
Um, but my godfather, which we called them Paran in New Orleans, right? So my Paran, he was like a part of the military. My my great uncles, everybody kind of had a military type of thing, and so I was the more. active one, all about, fitness when I was growing up. And so
Mhm.
my uncle was like, "Are you going to try to go to the military?" And, as a little girl, I didn't want to disappoint him. So
Mm.
I went and took the ASVAB, and I literally like clicked through that thing. I was like, I don't want to. I just want
Mm.
to be like, oh shoot, I didn't get the
Right.
ASVAB score, but
Okay.
I still passed
Wow.
the minimum score and ended up still being able to enlist. And
Wow.
so I only had cook or undesignated. Like you can go in, but you're going to be like chipping paint, painting
Mm.
the ship. I was like, oh no, I can't do that. So I'm
Mm.
like, I can cook, so I'll go ahead and do cook, right?
Okay.
And so it just turned out that I just started to enjoy it as
Okay.
my career started to take off. So,
Okay. Because I think cook was available for her. She said she didn't want to do that, but if that's the skill, I believe that is a skill that you have if you know how to cook. I feel like you can take it anywhere. Hell, you in the middle of
mhm.
the water cooking, right? So
Okay.
I don't even think that I would have thought about, sometimes you see shows and they'll say, "Oh, I used to cook when I was in the Navy, but never really thought about it, or in the Army, whatever, what have you. But I never even thought what that looked like." So, do you feel like there was another position you should have gone for, or you feel content like this is what you were supposed to be doing?
Um, I do
Happy,
feel,
happy you chose this profession,
yeah,
this
now at
this
where I
position.
am now, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the best. I think it was, at the beginning was a hard decision to make, but now that I I think it's the most of the fact that I am me, like a black female chief. A
Mhm.
lot of the junior sailors
You
come
better
up
say that,
and
Chief LaTara.
okay, a lot of them junior sailors come up and they are like, I'm rocking with you because you us, or you
Mm,
represent us or you are this. So it brings to another level of, I guess, showing us and our people where we can go. Like regardless of the road or the blockages, we can still do what we wanted to get to or where we wanted to go. So now looking back, I'm like, everything that I thought was a hindrance got me to be this type of culinary chief for my sailors. And so it was all worth it at the end.
okay. So now I know you're located in California. So you live on a base?
Yeah. So I am on the Naval Air Station Lemoore. And let me tell you, I was so used to San Diego because I had been a West Coast sailor majority of my career. Only place I've ever been outside of the West Coast when I went to Virginia for a tour,
I
and
heard you.
so I I am used to California, and I'm like, okay, I can't wait to go back. Now, Naval Air Station Lemoore, I love the command, I love the triad here, like our leadership,
Mhm.
but the dust, because
Mm.
we're in like the middle of farmland.
Oh,
Because it's an aircraft base, so they gotta have the space to be able to do what they need to do. So, but yes, we
okay.
do live in housing on base, the military housing that they provide for us. So that's where we are.
Okay. Again, pardon my ignorance. So when you get up and go to work, you get up and go drive someplace and go get on a ship
So no, I'm not on ship right now. I am on shore duty.
on shore duty. And where
Yeah,
is that?
I just came off of ship 2023.
So onshore duty
I
is
I
that
am
base or you go to a location?
I am on shore duty. I manage the bases galley.
The bases galley.
So our galley here has a galley. We have two mobile food trucks. We are like, yeah, so we run we run food to the flight lines for the aircraft, for the sailors that can't come to get the food at the galley. So
Mm,
we prepare the food, put them on the trucks, food trucks, and we run it out to the sailors out there so that they can at least eat while they're on
oh,
watch and stuff. So yeah.
okay, okay, okay. Was that a knock on your door? I thought I heard a knock. No? Yes.
Yeah, it's my son, the
Oh,
usual.
okay.
You
Oh,
know, I don't have no, I ain't got no me time. That's why I'm in up here because I be trying to hide, you know?
girl, please. I'm gonna get to the babies now. I know. It's okay. I understand. And kudos to you for doing that, for having this career, for being a wife, being a mother, right? It's a
Yeah,
lot. It's a lot. So
that's the hardest. Yeah.
yeah, I definitely appreciate your time. Okay, so now I know you are onshore, you got onshore duty. So tell
Mhm.
us what a day looks like for onshore duty. What like first of all, let me back up. What kind of food do they serve on the base?
Oh, we have a 6-week cycle.
Mm,
Okay. So our menu goes to 6 weeks and then it starts back up from cycle one all the way back through.
okay.
Only to manage how much food we actually have to produce type of thing.
Hmm.
But we serve like we do Burger Wednesdays.
Okay.
But we have a speed line and a um hotline. So
Okay.
we do everything. I think you could just name it. We do quinoa. We do every chicken, ribs, mashed potatoes from scratch. We do everything.
I
Like
like the from scratch part. So
yeah.
everything is produced from scratch?
So
Oh,
on ship, you usually don't get the opportunity to do that because you're trying to mass feed in a certain amount of time. But on
okay.
shore duty, it's one of the things that I enjoy because you get to go back to that. When I first joined, we did everything from scratch.
Hmm.
Lasagna, like we did oh Lord, the meatballs, the fried chicken standing at that fryer, the whole meal. Like we did everything from scratch when I first joined, but it started to take up so much of your productivity time
Hmm.
that like we were getting no sleep because by the time you finish cleaning the galley, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning and you're up at 4 to start breakfast. So
Hmm.
they kind of tried to minimize more ready to serve meals on ship so that CSs can actually like deep clean and do the things they needed to do to actually get some sleep. But I used to love it. I used to watch when I was a junior sailor and I was cooking from scratch. I used to peek like from the galley on the serving line to see if people would pick my product and
Uh-huh.
see how they would like if they liked it or not. Like the joy of those type of things. That's why I have them here cook a lot from scratch because that feeling of somebody saying you made a good product and you know you did it from scratch. You can't get that from a ready to serve
Right,
meal, you
right,
know?
right. And it doesn't taste the same. It doesn't.
No.
Yeah, I do believe we can connect through food. So I love seeing people's reaction when they taste my food because just because it gives you a good feeling knowing I created this and I say it all the time. Everybody can't cook, so to see somebody really appreciate
Okay.
and just I do believe that we definitely can connect. I think food, music is like a universal love language. So
Yes,
people were
absolutely.
training you when you started. They trained you how to prepare those certain dishes.
Yeah, so we have recipe cards and we go by them a lot. Sometimes we kind of defer from them just to give a little bit more flavor because those recipe cards are for like we ain't trying to give nobody no high cholesterol. We ain't trying to give people no, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, okay,
But we
right,
like it's too bland. Like I
yeah.
can't put this on the line. So we usually like spice it up a little bit, make it taste like it's real good and it's food. So
How many
we do
people
that.
you have on shore on the base that you?
I I carry right now 46 sailors under me.
Okay,
Mhm.
but you can say that's like a lighter load for you now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, 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 okay.
Absolutely.
That's a whole nother story. What is life like just being on a ship? Well, anyway,
Oh, yeah. Okay, so
say that. That like I'm trying to get my thoughts together. This is so exciting to me. Okay, so when you how do you well I'm sure you do when people have different dietary restrictions, do you
mhm.
produce things that are I know some people don't eat pork, or they don't.
Mhm.
Um, what else is it? They have allergens, right? Some people are gluten free. So how do you handle that?
So for us, a lot of times our stuff go through like our menus go through a nutritionist board, like of uh people that are have carry those degrees, right?
Mhm.
And our menus are based to where you're going to do a healthy option and you're going to do a heavy option, right? So sometimes we will have like salmon and we'll have a beef or whatever the case may be, but we won't have this like we won't have two unhealthy options at any time.
I see.
So
Hmm.
we do that. We do like the stir fries and the vegetables and like on Mondays for us we do Mongolian barbecue. So like you can have all the vegetables you want, put a little sauce on it, you know what I'm saying? Or
Hmm.
whatever the case
Okay.
may be. We
Okay.
do a lot of different options for them. But if we can't produce, because I know some people have, like we've had requests because they have like kosher, where like they have the Jewish beliefs of like the food has to be prayed over and all of those things. And for me, I don't know if this food was ever prayed for or whatever the case may be. So we usually give them their BAS, which is their basic food allowance. So
Mm,
we allow them to go out and source their own food if we cannot provide what they need for their time.
that's interesting. That would
Mhm.
be on shore, because that's not something they could do on a ship. So yeah,
So
okay.
usually on ship, it's a difference. Like we will carry like the kosher MREs.
Mm.
So they would have an option. They would have to eat the kosher meals when they are, on there. But we have full salad bars. We have like you come to a galley and you eat, it's like I want to say a Golden Corral, but not really because we don't have as much options as a Golden Corral. But you pay that price and everything in there you can eat. Like everything on either line you can have. Like it's one of those things. So it's not like you have to because like some galleys, the Air Force, they pay by each item they pick up. But for the
That's a
Navy,
food?
mhm.
For
So if
real?
you're receiving so some sailors, uh, because the Navy gives us a food allowance
Uh-huh.
monthly.
Okay.
So they're like, you gonna pay for it if you're gonna
Right.
eat at the
I
galley,
mean,
right?
you're right. Right. I got you. I got you. That makes sense. Okay.
So yeah, it's
That's
usually and our meals are like our lunch meal is right now the cost of it is $11.
hmm.
Yeah, so and you receive like you get the salad bar, you get all desserts, you get a fruit bar, you get a hotline with two meat items, two starches, and two vegetables, and you get the speed bar our Mondays is Mongolian, our Tuesdays are taco bar, our Wednesdays are burger bar. Thursdays are usually either we do deli or we do a like a panini
Hmm.
day. And then Fridays is always pizza and wings. So you're
Mm.
like,
So that's interesting. You said that's during lunch. Do they just come to eat one time, or you create breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
oh, we create breakfast too, right? We don't get a lot during breakfast, so don't nobody be trying to come to work that early on shore duty.
Oh, okay, okay. I got you.
But
Okay.
we do provide breakfast. We provide breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a night meal. Yes.
Really? Wow.
So yes, our trucks go out there, and they usually are there. That night meal ends at 1 o'clock in the morning, so they eat good if they
Oh,
want to.
okay, okay, okay. That's interesting. That's interesting. So how
Yeah.
does that work? I know you got some kids around there. So how does that work being a mom and a wife doing, even
Mm.
being out to sea? How does that work? Because I
It
know when
it's
you were in Virginia.
yeah.
Let me see. Were you there when Robin? Well, of course. Were you there when Robin was Robin there? Wait, I mean, how is it being out to sea? You don't have your kids with you, because I know your husband.
Mhm.
He retired, so maybe
Mhm.
you watch the kids now. But when
Mhm.
when he wasn't retired, how did that work?
It was hard. It was hard. Like Robin helped us a lot. My mom had to fly out there to help us. It's very hard. You have to really have a support system. If you don't, it's hard. And sometimes it hinders your career because a lot of times they're like the expectation of you, right, is that you do the job and your kids don't come before what the job is. So when
Mm,
you can't, because you gotta go pick up your kid because your kid is sick, or you gotta, you know, they look at you like you can't manage the both
mm, mm,
work life balance,
mm.
right? So
We always struggling with something, so
mhm,
that's a lot to put on a woman. Like, do you
yeah,
choose a career, but you still want to have a family, right?
hmm, yeah, but it's like now I'm like programmed that way.
Hmm.
So like I started like I really had to make sure that I was organized. Like at work, the before I left, I had a list of what I needed to get done when I came in the next morning because if I don't, then I'm going to waste the time that I can't waste because my kids get out of school at a time, or I got to
Mm,
make sure that I support when he's out to sea. Because
mm,
the worst part is he was supposed to be the one on shore, but they sent them to a command that kept sending him out to sea.
mm.
So it was like we were trying to, manage as well as we could. That Virginia tour, that tour
Right, right,
was
right,
something
right.
else. That tour was
Okay,
something else. Yeah.
okay. So it feels better. Do you feel like there's a little break now that he's retired? A little weight off your back?
Yeah, it does. I know sometimes it feels like that, and sometimes I'm just like, I know he ready to go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get
Because
into that because I
yeah,
know
even
you're retiring this year.
I'm retiring next year, but my family is leaving next month already. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yes. And
I
that's the
thought you
thing,
was
the
I feel like
sacrifices.
he said I feel like he said the end of the year when I interviewed him.
Mhm.
So if you didn't see that interview, go back and look at my interview with Chef Jermaine Moore. Okay. So now wait a minute now. Like, I gotta mix these questions up now.
Yeah, so they
So they're
literally
going to Houston.
yes, we bought a home. We're in closing. Okay. Yes.
Congratulations. Oh, I'm coming down, bro.
Yes. And
Nice.
it's important, a part of me wants to be selfish and keep them here with me and all of those things. But my children's stability education wise is super important to me. So them going and starting school there instead of trying to transfer like the third semester to a school,
Okay.
it I'd rather them get to it. And my daughter is going to be in her junior year of high school. So I don't want her to, I don't want her to, I want her to build friendships now
Right, right,
so
right.
that she can go into her senior year knowing these people,
Okay.
other.
And
So
how old are all your kids?
my youngest is 7. He just turned 7. And my son Makai is, you see how I'm counting, right?
Hmm.
Um, okay. He is 10,
Okay, okay.
and Amaya, she will be 16.
Oh,
So
now
yeah,
you had
this
all your
year.
kids on a boat. Were you
So
out?
I was a single mother before I met Jermaine with Amaya and Makai. And
Okay,
so yeah, that was the most difficult
okay.
part of my career. And that's when I had to learn how to manage my time because getting off of work to get my kids or trying to do things, I still had to be productive. So it was a struggle. It was the least I can say.
Let me
Um,
just say this because I don't want to gloss over this. I am so inspired by you and like just like you rock. You were doing the damn thing. So that is huge.
oh,
And
thank
just
you.
it's just for you to you saying your kids they're getting ready to move away. That's no easy feat, but you do what you got to do. And sometimes, we as women, I feel like we work so hard, and sometimes it goes unnoticed. So, I don't want to say what they always say, but thank you for your service and just being that mom like that is more impressive than anything, right? Being that
Yeah.
mom and that and still doing the damn thing in the Navy. So kudos to
Okay, I ain't got my degree. I am that. Okay.
you.
Let's-
Yes, let's put that out there. So kudos to you. You are a badass Miss LaTara Moore. congratulations on
Thank
everything.
you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Let me give you your flowers now. So just in case you don't think people hear, and I think just people hearing that, and I'm gonna tell my niece to look at this video just to see what's possible. Just to see what's
Mhm.
possible. She was teetering. Well, I guess that was just out of the blue, right? So she's in the army. Well, she signed up. I guess what they call like crossover, and she doesn't leave out. Maybe I'm using the wrong term, but she won't leave until September. But that's still a big step,
Yeah.
and to be so young, there's so much life ahead of you.
Yeah.
Now you didn't have. Now you have 3 kids, and now you
Hmm.
go home. Congratulations! You have family in
Yes.
Houston.
So yeah, I still have my sisters and my mom, they both moved to Texas when Hurricane Katrina happened. So
Oh,
they're out there. They're out there. And so I feel like it's best for my kids. They've been military kids. They've had to make friends every 3 or 4 years. So now they get to have their cousins around more. They get to have family around more often. So it's big for me for them to
now
feel that.
do you get breaks? Will you be able to go and visit?
Oh, I'm going every other month. Okay.
Okay, nice, nice, nice.
Because the good part is I am at the end of my career, so my time is like limited. I literally right now I have the opportunity because I have so many days of leave I have to get rid of before I retire.
Oh, okay.
So I need to use them up. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go with them in June. I'm going to take the kids there, and then I'll be back in August when they start school. So, I'm planning it planning to be there with them for Christmas. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. That's good. That's good. That's good. So I do, let me ask you this. I know when I was trying to schedule this, just connect with you, Robin said you had a big inspection coming up.
Oh Lord.
Yes, I would love to hear about that because I am such a food fanatic and I could look in places and I put my little inspection
Okay.
hat on and I be looking
Okay.
at
And it'd be hard not to look. My husband say, "Don't you say nothing in here." That's what he tells
oh,
me.
where the gloves? Oh, wait, what did I do? Like, don't touch my food with you, and you didn't touch my money. Just so many little different things. Oh,
Okay. Yes.
the forks need to be turned down.
Yes.
How was that? And I heard it was
Ooh.
you had to really prepare. And I also say that my son is in food management, so he sometimes they'll hire him to make sure stores pass their inspections, and he is
Okay.
a stickler. So I know when he looks at things, why is that there? And people generally just employees generally don't have a good understanding of food safety. But once you know a thing, you can't unknow it.
You
So
can.
yeah, I refuse. Like I cringe. Like, oh Lord, what is that? Why? What's over there? And I look at the reports and everything. So how was that preparing for that inspection? In
Ooh.
yeah, because you had a date. You had a date that they was coming out. Here in New York, they just show up. So
No, so we had, because they're in San Diego, so they give us the dates because they don't have the opportunity to just show.
okay, okay, right, right,
They're
right.
like 5.5 or some hours
And who
away.
comes out? Is it somebody from the
So
city?
our basically like our region. So, the region managers come out and they inspect our thing. They inspect every part of food service, right?
Okay.
Usually what we do anyway throughout the year is we produce zones. So
Mhm.
sailors have to clean certain zones every day. And that's not just like you wiping it down. No, you deep clean in this zone this
Right.
week. We deep clean in this zone next week. So
Okay.
the galley can continuously be touched, if you get
Mhm.
what I'm saying. So yeah, and if it's not to standard, we here on the weekend before an inspection. Like I
Mm.
do, yeah,
Right,
we're not about to play. Like
right,
this
right,
place about to
right.
get to,
So what
a
happens
lot of
if you
times.
fail an inspection?
Oh, if you fail an inspection, that goes to everybody. Everybody sees that you failed the inspection. Your
Okay.
galley is closed down, and
Okay.
everybody on base receiving BS. And now the CO and them probably gonna fire you. Yes,
Wow. Oh, okay. Okay.
yes.
That's why you ain't had time to talk.
I ain't got no time. I ain't got no time.
I know
And
that's
at that point, at that point when I was going through inspection, I was the DLCPO, which is a rank above me job position.
right.
So I was
Okay,
like, I ain't got no time to play. I need
right.
to show who I am right now. It's about to
Mhm,
be on. So, so, getting our administrative correct too, because our equipment, the life expectancy of our equipment,
mhm,
our records, right? Because we use a food service management system, FSM. That's what we call it, food service uh, management. So, and that's where all our stuff goes through. Like our ordering goes through that system. Our menus every day, we produce them from that system.
mhm.
And so all of those things come through that system, and we have to make sure. Hmm?
What's the name of that system?
FSM. That's a food service
Just
management. Food
food.
service management.
Okay, mhm,
FSM. So we run that system for everything. And
okay.
then on shore duty, your region can tap into your FSM and just it's a live thing so that they can see where you're at in your records and stuff. And we have to be at certain levels of stuff. Like, you know how when you feed, we can't go over a 2% of over under issue of
Mhm,
food. And, we have to be producing the same amount of food the same amount of food we order. We have to make sure we're producing out the same amount of food
mhm,
to stay under that 2% level. And so
mm.
a lot of things come from that's the managerial, like when you become a chief, that's the bigger parts of the
Mhm. That's
factors
that's
that,
when the chief come into play.
okay? Because ordering on a ship will take you out, okay?
Mm.
Because you
Wow.
have to factor so many different things. It's not like you can order from your regular people. You don't get to order from your regular people. And when you're back at Virginia or California, you got
Right.
to order from a catalog in the area you're at. So, like
Mm,
if we're in Europe, I got to order from a Europe catalog that's approved. Or if I'm in Bahrain catalog, yes, it's like, and then you got to focus on lead times, right? If I
mhm.
need this stuff, I got to make sure that I get it because now it has a lead time of 10 days. So that means I got to make sure I have this order in 10 days, like whatever order day I want to do, plus the lead time
Right, right,
so that
right.
it can get to the ship on time.
Okay.
It is, yeah, it will
Okay,
take you
so
out.
tell me more about the inspection. What were they looking for? Were they
Oh,
making
so
sure
they went through our cargo, which we call the JOD, Jack of the Dust. That's what we call them.
okay.
Um, they are the ones that run our inventory of food, right? So we have two deep freezers, we have a chill, and we have a dry storage, right? So they inspect those, they'll pick 50 items, and then they'll do the inventory on them. Our FSM system has to match that what we said we have in the storerooms match. So we did do 100% on that. They did do the sanitation inspection of the galley, and making sure everybody got the beer guards on. I hate the
Mm.
fact I hate the fact now that they can wear beards, but the beer guards on
Okay, right, 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 right,
and
right.
all the things, right? And so, they go up under everything, up under ovens, up under chill boxes, the gasket lines in the chill box, the reefers. Like it's so intense.
Mm.
Our what are the gaylords, everything. So we go through all of those and we pass as well with that. They go through our mess decks area. They look for the gum under the table. Everything. We flipping
Mm.
tables over. We making sure there's nothing under that.
Okay.
Um, our scullery, descaling of the scullery machine, and making sure so we supposed to have three times the amount of dishes and that three times the amount of people we serve. So we have,
Mm.
they go through our inventory, make sure we're doing
If
our,
you have
because we
100
do
people, you need to have about 300 dishes.
300. Hmm.
Mm. Okay.
So, yeah, they went through all of our stuff. They went through and then they even walked the outside of the building for beautification purposes and all of that. Yes.
Okay.
So we get intensely, inspected. So,
Good, good, good. And I think everyone should. I'm telling you, I always talk about it. And I feel like I'm in my own little world when I talk about it. But I look at some of the health department inspections and see how people just aren't clean. So, well, not clean. Maybe I just feel like maybe they're not training their staff or they don't know. But when you serve in the public, I believe you should be under that kind of scrutiny. When you see these shows like
Ooh,
Food
ooh.
Kitchen Impossible, and it's a
Or
dirty
kitchen
mess.
nightmares.
How is that able to function like that? Crazy. That's crazy to me. I know when I had my shop, I always knew that the health department can come in at any given moment. So I just can't understand. And it's just unfathomable.
Yeah.
So
I, I
okay.
I did that too one time. I went to a Golden Corral and I'm in California and I was like, I went to the restroom and some friends met me in the restroom. I said, "We going home.
I know.
We getting up out of here right now."
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, no.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
that's important. And a lot of times I think too, because people just feel like they work there, so they don't really have a vested interest. They could care less
Mm-hmm.
if the place passes or fails, but one small thing could make somebody sick. You can have an outbreak.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
so your husband has retired. He's a chef now. He's still in culinary school. Did he finish?
He graduates tomorrow.
What? Girl, look at that.
He
Congratulations.
graduates tomorrow. Yes.
And he actually, when he did his externship, he came to work with you.
Oh yeah. I
How
took
was
lovely pictures. I took lovely pictures of him.
Okay, okay.
It was great. I like my husband is a great cook. That's one thing he's not bad at. My thing, I had to keep pulling him out of the galley. Like, I
Mhm.
need you to learn the managerial side because
Right,
you
right,
know
right.
the cooking side. I need you to get into the management part. I need you to know what your staff is supposed to be doing. That's
Mhm.
the part you need to know, right?
Okay.
So he did really well because pushed him to give briefs to my food service officer, do
Mhm.
these things so he did really well in that. He did. I enjoyed having him.
Is that something you plan to explore? I know he has 5 shades of brown. So when you go to Houston, do you plan on being a part of that?
Now I'm planning on being a part of it at the beginning. Don't get me wrong. I love cooking,
Okay.
but I love it like I tell everybody else, cooking is a love to me. So like I don't like doing it every day because it becomes not the love part of it no more.
Right.
Like,
Right. Mhm.
so for me, like Jermaine, he loves it every day. For
Mhm.
me, I've done it for 23 years.
Right, right, right.
I want to love it and do it just for my family type of thing now.
Okay.
But because he's still going to be learning the inventory part, the
Mhm.
things like that, I'm going to support him on that. And when he gets on his feet and he start getting staff and all of that, that's when I'm gonna let go.
Mhm.
But,
But that's
I ain't
good
gonna.
too. Even you don't have to be the one doing that because sometimes we start these businesses and don't really have a clue, but to have you as a partner or
Mhm.
whether officially or not, but to give him that guidance, or as opposed to him trying to figure everything out by themselves, because if you don't have somebody who's in the know, then it's like you just kind of
Oh, yeah.
just taking a chance. So that's good, that's good. So when you retire, you just plan on relaxing.
No, I am going to go back to school for my master's.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm doing I
And because you didn't mention, I just happen to know because you told me, but tell the people, what do you have a degree in, and what are you going to
so
go
I
back?
have a bachelor's degree in healthcare administration with a minor in healthcare management.
Hmm.
Um, I I realized it was something I liked. I don't, but I'm gonna be on the administrative side because I can't do no needles and stuff. But
Right, right,
I
right.
like the I enjoyed the whole experience. Like I actually got to have a tour, I ended up working at Camp Pendleton. I
Hmm.
ended up working at that hospital in Camp Pendleton, the Marine Corps base, and I
Okay.
enjoyed it.
Really?
So um it's something that I like to do, and I'm to the point of my career and to the point of my life that taking care of other people has become bigger than the things that I used to enjoy, if you get what I'm saying. Like
Okay.
watching people succeed and become great and do great things has become something more of a bigger option for me than joining doing other things. Yeah, I'm going to school for my master's in healthcare administration.
Mhm.
And that's what I want to do when I finish school. But the going to school part will be like my lay down time. Like, okay.
Okay.
Um, and with the Great Old Navy, I get BAH to just go to school. So
Mm.
so I'm like, you get a lot of benefits people don't tend to think about, when you do
Question.
sacrifice so much. So now I'm just like, I'm grateful that me and my family can enjoy the sacrifices we made for so many years. And
Mhm.
so
No,
my
that's definitely what
kids,
it is. That definitely is a sacrifice. That
mhm,
really, really is, and to hear you talk about it, to even though I knew, but just it just resonates a little differently now that that really is a sacrifice. Um, you can tell me if you can answer this or not. If not, then it won't be in the interview. But with have you seen any changes in the Navy with the whole administration change? Or has things kind of been the same like from a year ago?
um, so with the things that comes down from the president of the United States and
Mhm,
everything that happens, we are we are unable to do we are liable to just to follow regardless.
mhm.
Whatever path our administration is on, the military will be on that path with them.
Right, right.
There is no changing that.
Right, right,
It
right,
don't matter who in there. We have no say so. We have to already implement stuff. So
right.
while
So
everybody else and states and everybody else were
mhm,
fighting things, the Navy was already moving. The
mm,
military was already moving on things that he already put out.
right. So you
So
saw the changes.
hmm
Okay.
so there's not much we can do. And we all think that we can, make a difference and make a change and all of these things like that, right? And I think the biggest factor is, like the old saying says, right? Like you can accept the things you cannot change,
Right,
right?
right, right, right. And I get it. I just
And,
what they say less.
okay.
I understand. Yeah, but I what I do know is, like you said, it's a sacrifice. You doing 22 years. That's what your kids will remember, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
You said your sisters. They know. Oh, my sister, she's in the Navy, right? So you're just not here. So, I asked my girlfriend, like, how much time. Good question. How much time would her daughter have to do? So I think she has to give 4 years.
Mhm.
You made the choice to continue at some point. Were you able to say, "Oh no, I'm ready to leave," or
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
what made you wanna stay? As in, what made you choose,
So
like, "This would be my
my
career?"
first my first reenlistment, because you reenlist every 4 to 5 years if you want to.
Oh,
The
okay.
max you can go is reenlist for 6, and then have to reenlist after that. But my first time reenlisting, I was like, I'm about to reenlist because I just gave y'all all these years on sea. I'm going to get a paycheck while I'm on shore duty. You know what I'm saying? While
Oh.
I'm sitting somewhere on somebody's base and go home every day. I'm going to do that. And
Mhm,
so the thing that made me stay, that was the time that I went to the hospital. And so
mhm,
now I'm flourishing at this hospital. And
mm,
now I'm like, oh, I could do so much more. I could do so much more. And
mm,
that's when I read up for my first 6 years. like,
mm.
hmm
Okay.
And my kids, like I had my daughter in 2009.
Mhm,
So I was like, I'm almost, I'm at 10.
mhm.
Like, what's the purpose now? So like,
Right.
let me go ahead and get these other 10. You
Okay.
know, the struggle was leaving her because the Navy back then didn't have as much, like as much as we want to say the negative, a lot of times, our military love to say how the military is so jacked up.
Mhm,
The things that I remember and where we are now in those things are different too. Like when I had Amaya, I had to be back in like physical fitness ready in 6 months to
mm.
take my physical readiness test, right? But now they give you a whole year to get back into standards,
Okay,
right? So we
okay.
say the different changes, but I'm like, yeah, I only got 6 weeks and I was back at work when I first had my daughter. Now you get 3 months. at
Mm.
home, you know? So
Mm.
we we we,
When you
we
first
changed
said
the
6 months, you had to be ready in 6 weeks?
I had to be 6 weeks to go back to work. Yes.
Wow.
Your daughter and my daughter went to daycare at 6 weeks old. Yeah.
Oh my god. Now see, that makes me feel all emotional just from a mother's
Yeah.
perspective, good lord. So I believe this is gonna come true, but I have an interview with the lady who runs she actually is from New Orleans. Have you ever heard of, Mignon Francois? She
I
owns a
have heard of
cupcake
it. Yes.
collection. You have heard of her?
Yes.
I have an interview scheduled with her. She's on my books to do, on my calendar, I should say. So I read her book, and I thought I was going to read this book about this uh baking entrepreneur. She's got like a multi-million-dollar business, bakery business. And what I connected with more so in the book is just being a woman and stuff that you have to go through as a woman, right? Yeah, you can have your husband and
Mhm.
they don't understand, but from that book, her book was so inspiring but I connected with more of her story of her trials and tribulations as a woman, struggling with the kids and
Okay.
it was a lot in trying to do stuff and I that was my takeaway. Her
Yeah.
struggles as a woman, not so much trying to get this business, right? So I understood that as well, but
Mhm.
connection. So here talking to you, and sometimes I think as women we don't talk enough to each other,
That's what
because
absolutely.
yeah, we be
Absolutely.
going through some things, and we think we're
Absolutely.
the only ones, and when you turn around, everybody's going through, or a lot of women have those stories.
Mhm.
It's kind of taboo to really just talk about it.
But I 100% agree with you on that, right? The level of changing as a mother was pretty drastic to me when it
Hmm.
came down to the military. And even though my daughter was 6 weeks old, I think I left when my daughter wasn't even a year left on my first deployment.
Mm.
And after having her, and like, I literally put her so far in the back of my head because I was crying every day if I didn't. I was
Mm.
literally like, you got to stop thinking about that. You got to focus on something else.
Yeah.
And when I got back, it was so hard for me to reconnect with my child because I had submerged it so much that I had to learn how to like, okay, Tyra, like, what is you doing? Like, it's your
So when did she
child.
come back? How old was she when you got back?
Um, almost two. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And who did she stay with? Like
With
family?
her father. So her father is a retired military too. He was a cook
Okay.
as well. That's how I met him. And so
Okay.
like she was staying with her father. Like if I deployed, he would take her while I
Okay.
deploy and stuff like that. So it was, and then that wasn't such a good relationship. So it was like the less pictures, the less communication with my child. So it was just
Yeah, something
everything.
else. Just I
Hmm.
take it back to just being a woman and the things we have to go through, right?
Hmm.
I don't want
Absolutely.
to say bastard, but sometimes they
Yeah.
are.
Hmm.
Sometimes they are, and it's a lot. So again, like I say, I give you your flowers now. Kudos to you because that's no easy feat. You
Yeah.
just never know what people's stories are. I do believe everybody has a story to tell, and I always connect. I always connect from. I always put woman. I'm woman first before anything else.
Okay.
So I make that connection, and I always look at even just thinking about just like I'm not following it. I hear what's going on with the Puffy situation. My heart goes out to Cassie as a woman.
Hmm.
There's so many
Absolutely.
people who say, "Oh, she could have left when she was grown," and they don't understand what fear looks like. They don't understand. First of all, she
What
was young.
what a
She
trauma, like, like or
no,
being re-victimized. You have no idea,
yes,
like it's crazy.
yeah,
Like
and then
the and you don't know where she came from. The want to be loved. Like
yeah,
I'll do anything to be loved.
yes,
Like
yes. My
it's
heart breaks for her.
yeah.
And she's just here publicly telling her story. What about all the other women who don't have an outlet, who will go
Okay.
through things? I know people who are in BS relationships to this day, right? And like you
Mm-hmm.
said, that trauma is something. Look, that's a
Mm-hmm.
whole other podcast, but people we don't
Okay.
talk about it enough. Are you on any kind of social media, anything? How can people follow you?
I am on social media. My Instagram is at the DA Great Life LYFE.
Okay.
And I am on the Facebook with my real name, so LaTara Moore.
Okay.
I have if anybody want to follow me on my military LaTara Moore page, they can absolutely follow me so they can see my travels and what we've done. So
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate your time. Go back to those babies. So thank you for taking this time with Need to Know Pod. And we'll talk soon. And congratulations and good luck with the move and all that stuff. So I'm sure Robin will keep me updated. So,
of course.
You need to know what to do with that dough. Let the chef show you. You need to know what to do with that dough. Let the chef show you.